Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Quicc Games with the lovely expert chatbot messenger marketing all-round social media guru, Kelly Noble Mirabella. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
You rocked it.
Oh, thank you very much. Welcome.
Hi,
How's it going?
thanks. Am I unmuted now?
You are unmuted. Yes.
Inside joke.
Yeah, you're all good.
Awesome.
So thank you for joining this morning.
Thanks for
We are
having
going to
me.
dip into all things chatbot and growth and strategies, and we may even allow you to get on your soapbox.
I love soapboxes. I actually brought my soapbox.
Yes. So tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get into chatbots in the first place?
Oh, fun story. Okay, so let's see. I've been a digital marketer for a long time, like 14 years. And because of that, I'm a little obsessed with social media, and I am on Facebook every single day of my life. I am self-proclaimed addicted, and I'm okay with it. So I'm cruising through Facebook. It was like 5 years ago. And I saw an ad from a company called Message Hero, which are no longer around. They actually just closed their door. And they had this ad in the newsfeed, and it said, if you comment, there's a new technology. If you comment below, we will instantly send you a message in Messenger. And I was like, there's no freaking way. Like, that doesn't exist. I'm a marketer, right? Like, I should know. And I did it, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And of course, I had to go buy like the lifetime plan. It was like $250. I was like, this is worth it. This is the future. By the way, if you are a ManyChat user right now or a chatbot builder right now all they were selling was the comment growth tool, which is this big of this huge ecosystem of what messenger bots are. And I thought this little thing was the future. This is so insane. So I bought it. And this was 5 years ago. Nobody was using this. And so I started experimenting with it, and it was just too early. I was too early to the game. And people were like, what the heck? You know, it was jarring for people. And I was like, all right, we're going to back burner this. A year or so later, ManyChat gets on the market. And I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of like that thing, except more. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it. But I didn't play with it until that end of that year. So this is probably end of 2006. Yeah, 2016, December. And I just like dove in to ManyChat. I was like, this is the time. I got time. It's the holidays. I'm going to dive in, just start building. And I started games. I love building games. I think it's a great way to learn. If you're just learning, building like quizzes and stuff is really good because it's fun. And also because you learn a lot of the little things that you need to know, like custom fields and how the flows work and tagging and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. So I got obsessed. And I ended up going to Social Media Marketing World 2017. This wasn't my first rodeo there either, but I went and saw my boys, Andrew and Pete, speak. And they were speaking that year was really a focus on something they focus on quite a bit, which is stop with the squirrel syndrome, right? Like, don't be the master of everything. Focus your energy on this thing and you will have more success. Well, I've always been the digital market. I'm like the encyclopedia of social media. I've actually had people say this about me because I know a lot about a lot of things in this space because I'm like one of the original gangsters of using social. So it's just natural. And I was like, all right, we're going to pivot. That's everyone's favorite word right now. We're going to pivot. And I pivoted into, I'm just going to do chatbots. So I started wanting to learn everything I could. I went to YouTube and unfortunately at the time, there weren't a lot of tutorials, and the ones that were out there, these people were bot builders. They were not video editors. They were not educators, and it was rough. It was hard to learn that way. And I thought to myself, I have years of experience teaching people how to use social media. I don't know a lot about video editing, but I know enough to be dangerous. So what if, as I learn how to build these bots, as I learn these new things, I teach them? I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm just a student passing on knowledge. And so I taught myself how to do ManyChat, and I taught myself how to edit video at the same time. And I started Baby Got Bot. This was 2017. And at the time I had no subscribers. Today I have almost 9,000 subscribers, which is huge in a very small niche that I'm in, because it's still, a growing niche. And that's how I got started. It was just a thirst for knowledge. And I got lucky and saw it in the newsfeed and thought, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And there they are. There's my super. So it started as like an 80s themed. You could see in my older videos, very 80s themed. In my newer videos, I'm more like me, like you see now. I've got the signature pink lips still, but outside of that, it was a lot of energy to do 80s. So I was like, okay, we need to cut the fat. So I have this Baby Got Bot, kind of this play on Baby Got Back, for those of you who are like into pop culture. And I've actually had people like write songs about me, like rap songs and stuff to like parody those sort of early 90s, late 80s music. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so it's a little different.
In San Diego, someone actually mentioned, I can't remember who it was, but someone mentioned Baby Got Bot, and someone thought that it might have been a play on Nobody Putting Baby in a Corner.
No, well, I mean, it could have, but this is actually a really embarrassing story, but I'll tell you anyways. My brother, my older brother, being an older brother, he used to make fun of me all the time. And he would say to me, this is such a mean thing for a brother to say. He's like, you got a lot of junk in the trunk. And he would sing the Baby Got Bot song to me like endlessly as a teenager. And I'm like, I hate you. I still love him, but I hated him at the time. But I embraced the Baby Got Back. It's like, oh my God, Becky, look at her, okay. So that's where it came from, which is actually an early 90s song.
That song.
Yeah. And then I did some stuff with like the Ice Ice Baby. So we do a lot of parody stuff. I've had friends. Yeah, I've had friends who wrote me, Stephanie Liu wrote me a parody from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it was all about me and bots. It was fantastic. So that kind of gives you an idea of the vibe that I'm giving off in my YouTube channel.
I got you. Stephanie is a very creative girl.
Love her. I love her. She's fun.
And you've got 8,000 subscribers on YouTube. You've been going for a while. Lots and lots of content up on there.
Yeah.
You've got your Baby Got Bots Facebook group as well.
Yes.
Which is, how many people you got in there? That's
I don't know, like 5,000 maybe. There, down here, 5,099. You just got in too.
See?
Look at that. Hey, that looks familiar. What's going on? That's very meta. For people who are watching in my group, that was like super meta.
So it's safe to say you know your stuff.
I might. I also happen to be the trainer for ManyChat. Like I did their latest, although I will admit a little outdated because they are updating the platform course. That's me. So if you go to YouTube and go to ManyChat's channel, you will see my friend Max, who works for ManyChat, and you will see me. And a lot of people are like, hey, you look familiar. That's because I'm over there too. See, there's my face. Look, there I am.
Ta-da.
I'm famous.
And you've worked with a lot of large brands, haven't you?
I have worked with some bigger brands. I usually work with medium size brands up to like enterprise to create strategies for their messenger bots. Yeah. And one of my favorite things to do, and usually where I do work with brands, is with like Facebook Live messenger bot strategy.
So that's one of the things I wanted to dip into, because I mean, our audience are fairly similar. They're creators, they are SMEs, they're all going through a weird old time right now, as we all are. And we were just talking before we came live, Kelly and I, just for the audience out there, that it's between her environment and my environment. We're different sides of the pond, but going early on this year from working full time, running our businesses, growing, scaling as we used to. So now we're doing that while also homeschooling and educating and caring for children.
It's crazy.
And we're not alone in that by any stretch of imagination, are we?
No.
So what I wanted to dip into was how we can help other businesses to actually kind of tap into untapped resources and to grow and scale, and how to get a lot of gain from not that much input, because basically we haven't got a huge amount of available time right now.
Yes.
So how would you suggest businesses do that?
I'm going to backtrack just a little because that'll make sense to my answer. But messenger bots have been around, like I said, for probably about 5 years in the realm that we're looking at referencing. And they have not been easily adapted by people. So it's a slow roll. It's starting to get more and more common. Unfortunately, as it became kind of big all of a sudden, like back in maybe 2018, it got big for like a minute. And the problem is that a whole bunch of marketers abused it and like used it very spamming and thinking it's like email and I'm just going to broadcast. And it kind of killed it for a minute. And now it's kind of coming back. So we're still in this like beginning stages, but there are currently more messaging app users. What up, Stephanie? More messaging app users than there are social media users. So that alone, you should be excited about the prospect of getting into messenger marketing because it's not the future of marketing. It's like here, the user base is bigger than social media. So there's a lot of opportunity. But with this pandemic, to get back to your question, with this pandemic, there's a lot of need for touch-free solutions, better admin sort of things, tracking. I know like restaurants really need to do all those things, gyms, these businesses that maybe before were like, oh, the way we've always marketed has always worked. And now those ways are not working. Like they can't just have people pick up a menu. And in those days of picking up a menu, maybe be over for a while, even when we can go back to normal because there's that mentality. So messenger bots actually can help solve those problems very easily. We can create touch-free solutions where literally I could go into a restaurant and just tap my phone on the table and the NFC enabled phone, which most new phones have that, is going to open up a digital menu where I can order, I can leave a review, I can, do whatever I need to do. And I'm able to do any kind of things like if the restaurant needs to do your tracking, which a lot of restaurants in a lot of states, and even in the UK, you need to have a tracking list of like the people who ate, when they ate at your restaurant and their email address or something. In case someone gets caught with some COVID, you got to be able to let everyone know. So that's just like one little tiny industry that can be solved with this. Shopify users have had an explosion in sales. And really, this is a great opportunity right now for anyone who sells online. Well, a messenger bot can absolutely help with your search rankings, for instance, on Amazon. There's a lot of strategies on how to help with that. ManyChat, for instance, natively integrates with Shopify. So there's a lot of really great abandoned cart and integrations that you can do. So it's basically helping you solve problems that maybe we had before, but there's a lot of problems we didn't have before that we absolutely have now. And I was telling Dan before we got on, we were kind of just chatting. The cool thing about messenger bots is they can solve really unique problems. So if you have a unique problem that nothing else seems like a landing page isn't going to do it, and you're sitting there racking your brain like, oh gosh, this is a weird situation, which we're all in right now. Generally speaking, a messenger bot can be a solution because it's very flexible and there's a lot of integrations with other tools that allows us to solve those problems in fun and creative ways. It's like the really long-winded answer. I'm talkative.
No, not at all. And Mike's just welcoming us as well. Mike is
hi, Mike.
Quicc, by the way, in case you didn't know. So yeah, he pays the checks. But he's just been in the woods for the past couple of days.
I wish I were in the woods. The woods in California are on fire right now, so I can't go to the woods.
Yeah, don't go for that one. That would not a very good idea. And yes, to answer your question, Stephanie, yes, I do have a new studio. So yeah.
He was giving me the tour. It's fancy.
It's literally fake it till you make it. I think they call it online Vogue. That's my new favorite phrase. It's just like if you go out of frame, there's crap everywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, I could show you some things. You don't want to see my studio.
No, there's not. So look, going back to bots and strategies and growth and everything of that ilk, as it were. I think a lot of the people with who Quicc actually attracts are creators who are wanting to expand their audiences.
Cool.
Right. But it's things like we know that the Facebook page algorithm reach is like battered.
It is. It's rough. It's rough out there.
But at the same time, like Facebook pages, as just one example, and there's going to be like a 3-parter to this question. So brace yourself.
I'm ready.
So
I got an answer already, but keep going.
Okay, go. So you can integrate chatbots, so ManyChat, within a page.
Mhm.
You can also integrate WhatsApp within a page. You can integrate SMS within ManyChat.
Yes.
But there's also a huge trend towards repurposing content across multiple platforms as well.
Sure.
So if all your contacts are going into your Facebook page via ManyChat, and that's where all the contacts are, then how would you suggest people to kind of get the data across multiple platforms and really start nurturing that whilst retaining an element of not so much ownership of the data, but you know what I mean? It's the
Yeah.
not all your eggs in one basket.
No, I totally agree. My suggestion is, first of all, every strategy is going to have a different solution, right? So you're basically looking at 3 different solutions here. I'm looking at a messenger kind of solution, which is essentially on Facebook Messenger. It's not necessarily the page, it's Facebook Messenger. But because it's on Facebook's property, you have a lot of rules. People don't like the rules. So then the next solution for me would be SMS. I like SMS because it's direct. It has really good open rates. You do have to be cautious in terms of setting the proper expectations and not abusing that relationship. And that, I think, is something you're going to hear me say a lot, but it's also something that marketers struggle with the most, is having discipline to not abuse it, because it's very easy for us as marketers to be so focused on our goals and our strategies and not look at the people on the other side of the screen as humans. Like the goal, I always like golden rule, right? Like if you step out of your marketing shoes, I'm stepping out my shoes, and step into your human shoes, are you gonna want that many text messages? Probably not. So you have Messenger, you have SMS, which is excellent, and then you have email, which is also excellent. It still works. Obviously, open rates are much lower, and there are some there's constraints with each one of these. So I really like to give people the opportunity to choose their own adventure, if you will. So I'm, pushing them. Obviously, the capture is on Messenger, but I'm pushing them into these other places so that I own that content. Also, I'm going a step further, and I'm also putting people into my Facebook group, because then I can continue to build that rapport, even if they're not ready to be on my list per se. That being said, I want to go back to your first comment about, because you said 3 parts, so I'm going back.
Yes, go ahead.
The Facebook algorithm, right? We all hate it. We need to unlock it. So this is the really elementary version of how the algorithm works. Facebook doesn't care how many likes you have on your page, how many followers you have. They're going to take a very small percentage. Every page is different based on their content. And the reason it's not like you do news, I do this, and that's why. No, it's based on how people interact with that content previously. So if you have, every time you post, you're getting great, interaction, then they're going to give it out. So I call it the test market. I'm going to go Facebook Live. I'm going live. Facebook's going to send it out to a percentage of the people on your page into the newsfeed. Very small. Those people need to show up and watch, number one. They need to like, comment, and hopefully share. That's a really good signal, because obviously the sharing is opening up the distribution to other people that you don't have access to unless your viewers unlock that. So when we have people doing those things, Facebook's looking at that going, or their AI, right? Their bots are like, yo, this content right here, people are commenting, liking, viewing, staying longer. This is why Facebook Live is so great, because people do tend to stay longer and interact and engage. So it's bringing these signals. So Facebook's going to take your test market. They're going to open it up a little bit more. If those people come in and do all those things, we're going to open up more and more and more. And eventually, if you're doing it right, you're going to have more people viewing than you have likes on your page, right? But how do you do that? Because you can only get so far in the algorithm without a little love. Well, a messenger bot can give you that love. And that's something I specialize in. I've done this with Stephanie Liu. I've done it with Agorapulse. I've done it I do it every time I do a Facebook Live. I have a Facebook Live show every Thursday. Every time I have at least 25 people show up immediately. This is a brand new show. I've only been doing it 9 weeks. And I have 20 shares per show. I have views that go pretty high. And it's just a little 30-minute show, because I have a messenger bot that registers people. So I'm immediately getting people into the show, which is a very strong signal. We want to get people into your content as soon as it hits, right? So we have to help it out a little bit, which is why we are often sharing to all these places. And then, so they're coming in. they're commenting. Well, we're going to encourage more commenting by using something called the comment growth tool, which is kind of like that thing I told you about that I got all excited about when I got into messenger bots. And so then people are commenting, a message comes up, maybe it gets them to share something, they're sharing, there's all this engagement, and you are unlocking potential. Every time I've run this messenger bot strategy on every single page I have ever, and every size page. We've done it with Bella's pet company. We've done it with Stephanie Liu. I've done it with InVideo. I mean, every size page. Amanda Robinson uses my strategy. Every single page, you're getting more and more distribution. You're getting more and more viewers, more and more shares. So you can break open and unlock the algorithm. It's just with messenger bots. Like messenger bots are the key. And you can do that with all kinds of content. Now, yes, it is Facebook content. Can you unlock algorithms on, say, YouTube? I'm actually experimenting with that right now, and I do believe you can. But again, it's all going to go through Facebook Messenger. So you're going to have this kind of weird, how am I going to get people to opt into Messenger when they're over here on a different platform? So there's a lot of like copy that you have to use. A lot of the way you market, the way you use copy is going to be a really big part of that, because we can create something called a ref URL, which is a link that anywhere in the world, anywhere in the online space, they can click in to Messenger. But you have to give context, or people will be like, whoa, what just happened? You know, like, what is this? So
I was just thinking while you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a Facebook group or a Facebook page that is engaged,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can reach that community, you nurture those within the bots.
Yes.
And then when you go live on YouTube, if you
can absolutely get them over.
And the same thing with LinkedIn Live, because I think LinkedIn
anywhere
Live,
you go live, the key is that you're getting them to register through the bot, so that once they're in the bot, you can actually use, you can be compliant and use a tag called confirmed event reminder. And because they're registering for your event, and you're going to send a broadcast saying, yo, we're live. And here, click here to access, and you would link to wherever. It could be a link to a YouTube live. It could be a link to a Facebook live. It could be a link to Pinterest, or, you know, wherever you go live. I don't think you can go live on Pinterest yet, but LinkedIn, yeah, wherever you're into.
I know
it could be your own website.
LinkedIn's quite an immature platform as in terms of algorithm, because it's just very much like Facebook 2013.
It really is.
It's just the more likes and the more people you get onto
it's the baby boomer of social networks.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need a huge amount to get shown very, very up there in the algorithm.
Yeah.
You need those likes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So chatbots are great for engagement and feeding one channel to another.
Yes.
Ref URLs work across platform. Even if you're on TikTok, then you can put the ref URL within the profile on TikTok.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To nurture them on there as well.
Absolutely.
Mike has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is a bit of a deep thinker.
Mm-hmm.
I'll warn you on that one. So can you share more about AI machine learning and how they are changing the manner in which chatbots are leveraged moving forwards?
I will say that currently, I will preference this, that I would say 99% of the messenger bots out there right now are not using AI. And if they are, it's elementary. They're using something like Janus, or, you know, something that's helping kind of with these conversational conditional logics, but it's not like what you see, like a keynote of Google showcasing their AI, and it's like an actual AI. It sounds like a human, can make logical decisions for you. There's nothing out there right now that the regular consumer / business is using, because there's first of all, a lot of these companies are not giving you access to that tech. Google might give you access to some of their lower AI conditional logic, but they're not giving you access to that big boy stuff that they're playing with. And it's very expensive. So in terms of like, is everyone using it? Is there a possibility to make your bot smarter? There are some ways that we can make our messenger bots smarter, but it's all conditional logic. It's not necessarily machine learning happening. There is always going to be a human element, and not always forever, because eventually this technology will catch up and we'll be able to utilize it. But right now it's not available to the normal builder. even and at the enterprise level. I mean, unless you want to spend like millions of dollars on the software, you're probably not going to be getting like a machine learning situation. Now, in terms of how is it changing things, legally, it's actually changing quite a bit. Here in California, we actually had a law passed that you have to be explicit in letting people know that you are talking to a robot or a bot. And that includes messenger or chat bots or these AI things. So I think that actually came out right after Google did like their keynote where they showcased their AI technology, which was crazy awesome as a marketer, but as like a human, you're like, whoa, scary and terrifying. So do I see it changing for like businesses? Probably not for a while. Honestly, we're still trying to get the consumer caught up with just the basic concept of messenger bots. And I think that eventually, yes, we're going to see more machine learning that's going to be attainable for businesses and it will make them better. But as of right now, the concept that you need to wrap your head around is the messenger bot, the chat bot is only as good as the person who builds it. So make sure that you are getting a good builder and you're really thinking through how do people interact, and you're not trying to build a messenger bot that mimics a human. Instead, you're building one that is very, very straightforward with people saying, hey, I'm a robot, I'm not real, but if you want to talk to a real human, just type human at any time. Because if we set the right expectation with people, they're cool with talking to a robot until they can't get what they want, right? But if you try to trick them, and there is not a lot of technology out there, it doesn't matter how good of a chatbot builder you are, it's going to come across. They're going to figure it out. And then they're going to be, excuse my French, pissed because you just tried to trick them. And nobody, no consumer, no human likes feeling like they've been tricked or someone's duping them. You just really like made your business bad in their eyes. You've ruined the trust. And that's never what we want. So why not take the extra 1 minute and introduce people in the beginning and set expectations saying, hey, not a real human. I actually did one recently where I did an opt-in for in video, actually, when we did a Facebook Live for them. And it says, hey, I'm not a real human. I know it surprised my mother too. But if you want to talk to a human, so bring some personality, have fun with it. It doesn't have to be like, I am a robot. But if you have fun with it and you just set the right expectations, people are just totally fine with it. And the experience goes from, oh my gosh, this is so invasive to, that was really cool. How'd you do that? Like literally the same experience. All you have to do is set the expectation differently at the beginning.
So slight segue. I've been speaking to a number of people recently about, funny enough, LinkedIn. Because I think my biggest audience is there personally, not so much for Quick's audience, but LinkedIn as a platform is growing. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's not as mature as the other platforms out there. And it's got a big issue right now, and an increasingly big issue as well, with people using automation, which is against their terms of service. But there's a huge amount of automation on there, which people just generally don't like. Yeah. But it's getting worse. So how would you suggest someone could use chatbots or some of the strategies you teach elsewhere that could help on platforms that do have restrictions like that? Sure. But I think in a more human way.
I think if the platform isn't allowing it, don't do it. This goes back to what I was saying is when people first started getting into messenger bots and using like ManyChat, for instance, or Chatfuel or whatever they were using, they were taught by a lot of the early people that, oh, this is going to replace email, and they went hog wild. They abused it. And I think what we saw on Facebook a year or two ago is what we're seeing on LinkedIn right now, except it's still illegal. And honestly, it's going to ruin the platform if LinkedIn doesn't do something about it. Facebook did something about it, and the marketers were angry. Trust me, they are still angry about these changes. But if you look at the big picture, like again, step out of your marketer shoes or stay in your marketer shoes and actually be a smart strategic marketer that looks down the road. You want to be in business in 10 years? Stop looking right here, look down the road. Speaking of soapboxes, and understand that if you ruin the platform, and the people will leave. I don't even use LinkedIn. I don't read my messages over there because they're so spammy and so robotic and so salesy. I won't it used to be a huge platform for me. And I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way. And it's not just LinkedIn. I don't look at my DMs on Twitter anymore. And Facebook was going that direction until they made these changes. So as a marketer, I've been in business as a marketer for 14 years. I've owned my business for 10, and I'd love to be still in business 10 years from now. I'm not just looking at tomorrow. I'm not just looking at next year. I want to be in business for the long haul. Do I think messenger bots or Facebook will be around in 10 years? Who knows? But if it is, I don't want to be contributing to the demise of a platform that is still very powerful, even with restrictions. So yeah, you can get upset about the rules and you could be like, well, I can't believe that Facebook made these changes, or I can't believe LinkedIn doesn't allow these automations. But at the end of the day, if you want longevity on any platform and in your business, you better get on board with it, because if we ruin the platform, people won't use it. And then it just becomes a thing that nobody opens your emails anymore. Like that's what kills platforms. So is there a way to adapt, messenger marketing or chatbot marketing on LinkedIn? I'm sure there are some ways when you use like a ref URL or what have you, but legally speaking, stop using bots when you're not supposed to. Stop using automations. It's the same with Instagram. People are constantly saying like, we want Instagram chatbots. We want Instagram auto posting, which is against terms of service. Well, you're gonna hurt the platform. And I can't argue. I cannot say it enough. Stop ruining my business. Stop ruining an industry that I love, because a lot of my friends and a lot of people rely on this industry and do it well. So stop screwing it for everyone else, because in the end, you're going to be out of business. And I don't know if you're like young and stupid, like you don't think about those things, but like get on board if you want to be in business for the next 10 years. So that's my soapbox for that.
Sure. Well said. I think it's just one of those things that, like you said, Facebook implemented a lot of controls.
They do.
And I'd like to talk about that for a little bit as well.
Sure.
But the controls that they implemented and other platforms haven't, but let's face it, they're going to have to at some point.
They will.
I mean, YouTube have implemented lots of controls. There's lots of stuff you cannot do on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you have a flag against your channel, or if you...
It's hard to clean up.
Yeah. I mean, the fact of the people getting those channels back are very, very few and far between. Once you're done, you're done. I think Facebook obviously followed suit. So what can you and can you not do on Facebook that the other platforms have yet to catch up with?
Well, Facebook Messenger marketing, like Facebook's chatbots, are pretty much the first of their kind. If you look across social networks, you don't have these automations that can be built out. There are no chatbots on LinkedIn, like you said. There are no chatbots on, like if there are, it's like auto replies that you can set up that the platform gives you that are very limited. So Facebook was the first of its kind, and there's always going to be marketers, unfortunately, that are going to abuse it, whether they're abusing it because they're taking advantage of it and they know they can until it's gone, or which are the ones that I'm lecturing, or the people who just don't know better, and maybe they're taught by the wrong people, or maybe they're just playing around and they just don't know the rules. And those people I can kind of forgive a little bit, but you should have some understanding of how these platforms work. So do I think that, in the future, will these other companies adapt? Yeah, if they open up their private message platforms to chatbots, they absolutely will probably follow suit. Because again, if you ruin the platform, it's bad business for Facebook. It's bad business for LinkedIn, all these social networks. If the marketers, if the businesses abuse the platform, people are pulling away. Well, what's Facebook's number one goal besides revenue? Well, they get the revenue from users, right? They have to have more users. By the way, you are the revenue, you guys, if you didn't know. On these social networks, you might not be paying, but you're paying. So if we, the user, are not getting on Messenger, if we don't want to talk to our friends anymore because some business is constantly abusing that, then we're not going to use the platform. So yeah, all these other social networks are going to follow suit eventually. But there are a lot of things you can still do. So things that you shouldn't do, like right off the bat, don't look at Facebook Messenger marketing as email marketing. It was a mistake for so many people to teach it that way. They did way too many comparisons from the top executives all the way down. People were saying, this is the new email. This is awesome. And then Facebook made the change. And you can no longer just send a broadcast to everyone on your list. You have to follow you have to fall under specific tags. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to like give you all the tags. I have videos, tons of videos on my YouTube channel that explain them. But essentially you have 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to say 4 or 5 tags that you can use. And most businesses don't fall under most of those tags. So you have to be really creative in, again, as a good marketer, thinking ahead. I think that a problem I see with and maybe because I have a marketing degree and I had to go through school and understand strategy, that I understand the importance of looking ahead and not just this campaign. This campaign is great, but if I'm not looking at what's the next 3 steps, then it doesn't matter what's going on here if I don't get people to the next place. So when it comes to messenger bots, this is even more true because of compliance. So if I'm going to get people to register for a Facebook Live, for instance, I use a ref URL, they come in, it's fully compliant, they click, they want to be a part of that. I tag them, and now I can send those people a broadcast using a tag called confirmed event reminder. I can only send it when it's time for the event to go live or leading up to the event, but no promotions of anything else, no like next week, we're going to talk about this. But I can also think ahead. Well, I want to open the 24-hour window, which means I can send any message I want basically within this 24-hour window. In order to open that window, the end user has to engage with my messenger bot. So instead of just sending them straight to my live broadcast, instead I might say, I send out the broadcast under that tag that's fully compliant and say, hey, we're live. And then they click, there's a button there that says learn more or access info. And that just opens up one more message, which then opens up the 24-hour window and says, today we're going to learn XYZ, click here to access. And then they go out to an outside website. Because if they go out to an outside website right away, it doesn't open the window. Well, now I have them for 24 hours. So now I can follow up after the show and I can say, hey, I hope you enjoyed this show. I'm going to go live next week. Would you like to go to that? I have this product I'm selling. Would you like information about that? All 100% compliant because I'm inside of the 24-hour window. Now, if I am a marketer that doesn't understand looking 3 steps ahead, what I'm going to do is register, tag, send a broadcast that takes them straight there. I'm not open in the 24-hour window. I've decreased my chances of reaching more people with my follow-up to this because then I'm relying on, did they engage in other ways? But I'm not facilitating that. So always think ahead. There are so many ways you can use messenger marketing. And I know that, like I said, a lot of marketers are frustrated, especially ones that were there before the changes. They're all, this is useless. Why we're not going to do this anymore. And I'm just like, I shake my head. I get frustrated as an educator. I get frustrated seeing that mentality because I know it's a little bit more work, but I mean, if you're worth your salt as a marketer, then you should already be thinking 3 steps ahead. And if you're not, then you need to slow the frick down and you need to make sure that you are doing the best you can for your clients and for yourself. And that means I'm not just throwing spaghetti on the wall. I'm not just one step and hoping for the best. I'm always thinking ahead. And then you can't be frustrated because you are already thinking strategically on how can I adapt and how can I use what is available to me? And you're still winning. Okay, another soapbox. Man, you got me on all the soapboxes today.
I told you, I like your soapboxes. They're full of energy.
Thank you. I'm passionate.
You are. It's kind of like,
well, one of my goals in life right now is to help people not build bad bots because they have a bad reputation because so many people did go out and abuse it and build annoying chatbots. So I get on these soapboxes because that's like one of my goals is like, I can teach you to not be annoying.
And just for the watchers out there, whether you're catching this live or whether you're on the replay, I believe this is case sensitive with the capital F.
I don't think it might not be. I don't know. I never tried it. I don't know if it is. Try it.
Be safe.
Just try it.
Yeah. But Kelly has a free foundations course.
Totally free. You don't have to sign in. You don't have to give me anything. You don't have to opt in. You just go to the link and bam, look, there's some videos.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
It's a part of your educating the world.
It is.
Sequence, isn't it?
Like, there you go.
So if you want to be interested in any of the stuff we're talking about here, dip into there, learn how not to do it badly, obviously, because soapboxes will ensue. And one of the things that you touched on there was it's a lot about ethics, basically.
It is. It is.
it's, I mean, we believe this in Quicc as well. I mean, we had a conversation just, well, I think 2 weeks ago, where, let's face it, with COVID going on, there's a lot of people moving online. I mean, ad spend has gone all over the place. There was big spikes in the cost of ad spend when everyone was kind of like first trying to go in. Effectively, people were going in, trying ad spend, sending the cost for everyone else through the roof because they were just playing around with it and didn't know what they were doing. And then it all settled down again, and buying behaviors have kind of changed a little bit. And we had this conversation internally where we were seeing a lot of response from other businesses that were using what we would regard, according to our ethics, as not so nice tactics. You know, they were playing on fears and insecurities, and we were like, no, we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to, we won't do it. And we were trying to find ways of really helping an audience in a time of, let's face it, uncertainty, need, emotional insecurity. You know, it's not great for some people out there. But when you talk about chatbots and implementing strategies, what are some of the things that you've seen that A, you like, or B, really get your back up?
There's so many more bad situations than good. That's the problem, though, isn't it? That's the problem. Yeah. That's why I'm on a mission. Things that really annoy me is, I've already said one of them, which is, you know, trying to trick people. I know a lot of marketers do this. They don't set the right expectations. So even if you're doing like a comment growth tool, which means you comment a certain keyword, it opens in a messenger. There is the ability to not let people know that that's going to happen. They comment and then the messenger opens. But the difference between me telling you in the description, hey, just so you know, if you comment, this thing's going to open up. Or even when I share my ref URL, it says in parentheses, opens in Facebook Messenger. If you're new, click get started. So I'm giving context. If you don't, a lot of those people are annoying people. And what happens, it actually hurts you. The bottom line, you. So there's a lot of people that go and they're like, why is Facebook shutting me down? Why are they saying I have a high block rate? And I'm like, well, look at what you're doing. You're not giving context. So these messenger things open up and people are like, whoa, what this? I didn't ask for this, you know, so they're blocking you because it feels spammy. So when your block rate goes up, Facebook looks at that and they're like, you're abusing the program. We're going to shut down your messenger. And it happens every day just because of that, just because I'm using a ref URL, or more importantly, I'm using a chatbot, a comment growth tool, which works slightly different. With a ref URL, the person has to click get started if they're new. So it's not as invasive. They're like, oh, well, you know, never mind. But if they do a comment growth tool, it literally opens a conversation up. So that's very jarring. People will block you. It's the same as if you're sending out broadcasts inappropriately. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get shut down.
And but with comment growth tools, you can also amplify those with ad spend as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many good messenger ads out there. So in terms of what are people that are doing it right, is they're just setting the expectation. Like these simple fixes can bring you a lot more success. If I'm saying it opens in Messenger, or if I have a pop-up on my website for SMS opt-in even, and it says, hey, opt in and receive, you know, to join our reward program. You could do this on Shopify. For every $100 that you spend with us, we will send you a coupon or something. Well, just, you know, greet them once they opt in and say, great, thank you so much. We're just going to send you sporadic offers, like maybe once a week. Don't send them a text message every freaking day. If you tell them you're going to send one like every once in a while, you know, so like try to stay compliant with what you promise people, follow through, practice the golden rule. There's a lot of people that are doing it right. And I think about someone like Ryan Baggett, who I had on my show recently, a couple of weeks ago, where he builds messenger bots for restaurants. And he is literally building a solution people need. And it's beautifully constructed. But also he and I agree on this thing, which is sometimes the simplest messenger bots are the ones that are the best. Not just sometimes, most of the time. I think it's when people overcomplicate them and try to make the messenger bot replace everything. I am not under the belief that an entire landing page needs to be inside of your bot. I do think you can qualify people better, but sometimes if you have walls of text that you have to get across, then just send them to a landing page, maybe with a bot, messenger bot pop-up that says, hey, do you have questions about this? And then you go through and qualify people. So it's a great compliment, but I don't think it needs to replace everything. I don't know if that really answered your question.
Yeah, you did.
People ask me like, who are bots you like? And I'm like, they're so far and few between that it's usually like the small builders that are hustling and doing it right that don't get enough recognition that I think I appreciate the most. The ones who are using it for these small fixes, these issues they have. Like there was a woman I had, Jessica, who coaches real estate agents. She gets them leads using a messenger bot. And it's just a simple Facebook ad retargeted to real estate interest leads, retarget that audience with messenger bot leads, messenger bot ads that open in Messenger, helps qualify them, gets the leads information and sends them to different agents that she's helping. And this is a problem that real estate agents have. How do I take a listing, like maybe my broker agent gave me a list of leads, but they're kind of dead leads. Like, what do I do with those? Create a custom audience, create a lookalike audience, do Messenger JSON ads and qualify them through conversation, and you will open up warm leads. So there's a kind of a big problem, but you look at it in the set of like the whole industry. It's this problem solved, right? So those are the messenger bots that are going to take problems that nothing else is working or they're not as efficiently solving it, and a bot can probably solve it.
And I minded just what you were saying about the restaurants and one tiny little problem. There was one I saw, this was before pandemic, this was last year sometime. And my wife actually, she's half Caribbean anyway, so she doesn't need to tan, but she just likes sun.
Must be nice. My husband's Puerto Rican, so I get this.
Yeah. So when she goes every now and again, if she's just feeling like she needs sun and it's like winter, she'll go and just get her on a tanning bed for 20 minutes. Doesn't do it very often, but she
she likes the warmth.
She does. Like,
I get it.
Says, I need to warm my bones. Is what she tells me.
Get it.
So she went to the tanning place, and they had this little sign up on the desk that it was the QR code things, little scan codes.
Yep.
She scanned one of those, came with Messenger, and they had an entire flow of booking a bed, deducting the minutes from her account, and then topping up when she runs out.
Easy bot. And it solves it. It makes it easier. So you might not even think it's a problem, but if it makes the solution easier on your staff and on your customers, that's good. Yeah, that's a great example because you can use those QR codes. I have a martial arts gym that I created a QR code flow. And essentially all it does is you can scan it, join their, like he has so many things he needs to do. I need people on my email list. I need to know who my members are. I need to be able to schedule appointments. I need them to sign a waiver because of the COVID thing. Yep. So I'm just like, scan here. And it allows us to find out, are they a member? Are you on our email list? Are you in our Facebook group? Here's the, click here to schedule one of your future classes. If you love us, give us a review. Here's the waiver. It gives them everything they need. And it's just like right there. So you can, and that was an easy bot to build, to be honest. So again, just like solutions, bot, hello, let's meet.
You don't need staff there to be.
No, you don't. And he could be in the middle of teaching class and there's a sign that says, hey, we can help you. Like, you need these things. You want information about store hours? Scan here. We've got all the things you need. So if you get those like frequently asked questions or, things that you need people to have access to while you might be busy. Reward programs is another thing. Coffee shops with reward programs can be done through a messenger bot very easily. Events, if you want to go ticketless for your events, you could do that with a messenger bot. There's so many things that you can do. I host a lunch every year at Social Media Marketing World for bot builders. It's called Burgers and Bots. And I actually run the registration through my messenger bot because I can get their email address. I can track how many people. I can actually limit. I only can have 10 people. And so once we hit 10, it will then go into a wait list. It automatically takes care of it. It goes into a wait list. And then I can send out messages if someone goes and says, well, I can't go anymore. I can say, hey, everyone on the wait list, I have one more spot, first come, first serve, snag it. I can do all that and not even have to, once it's built, I don't have to worry about it. I'm out. I'm like networking at the conference. You know what I mean?
And something you touched on just for a second there, which we didn't touch on earlier, but it's probably good for people to know, is that when you connect to a chatbot, you're effectively subscribing to the messenger and therefore someone's Facebook page.
Yes, it goes through the page.
Yeah. So what pieces of information do you get automatically just by subscribing to that channel?
You get their person's name, their general location. That's not always accurate, but it's based off their Facebook account and their, what is it? The time zone thing, but it's in like, Americans don't go by this, but it's like the UTC thing. UTC. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, but you get that. Everything else you have to ask for essentially, or in language, you get their language. So if I wanted their email address,
name, location,
yeah, and the language, so like basic. So I can like greet someone by their first name or their full name, but I can't say, I can't get their email right away. So I would have to ask, but I can, there's what we call user input. So I could say, hey, I need your email. And it's actually going to auto-populate the email that Facebook has for them. And all they have to do is click it or tap it if they're on their phone, and it will confirm it. And then I get access to it. So once they confirm it, I get access to it, or they can type in a new one and change it. Same with phone numbers. So there's a lot we can get from people. We can ask any question. We could save it to a custom user field and reuse it later. So there's a lot of things we can do. But yeah, initially, those are the only things that we get, which is good. I don't really necessarily want all my information to go to someone just because I subscribe.
No, you want to have control over what you do and don't share.
Yeah. And really quick fun fact for everyone who's like, oh, bots are so annoying. Literally all you have to do in a bot is type in a messenger bot on Facebook Messenger is type stop. And Facebook has a mechanism that forces the stop. Like it forces the unsubscribe. So, right. And if it doesn't, then block them because they are definitely breaking the rules.
Okay, so if you don't like, just so everyone out there watching, if you don't like chatbots at all, type stop.
Well, don't subscribe to them. That's the thing is like people are like, oh, I hate messenger bots. They're so invasive. And I'm like, you can't get a messenger message from a company through a messenger bot. You could do it just if they're like individually message you, but through a messenger bot, you can't tell me they're annoying unless you've opted in. You, the user, have full control. I cannot send you a message with my messenger bot until you hit literally a button that says get started and you have confirmed. And then at any time you can type stop or unsubscribe and immediately you're out. Like it's not email as much as the early people were like, it's email. It's not. I can't just upload a list and start messaging you. Facebook has made it it's not just the rules. Like it is like physically impossible for me to message you unless you message me first.
Was that a mini
or opt in?
Second there?
Huh?
Is that a mini soapbox?
That was a mini soapbox. I'm just saying, don't complain because you opted in. That's all I'm saying.
You're very passionate about bots.
I'm passionate about everything. Like we could talk about any topic. I probably have a soapbox for it. So, I can talk about like sushi making and I'm like, oh, let me go get that soapbox.
Fun fact, we actually met in San Diego.
Yes.
This year.
At a pizza joint.
At a pizza place.
My hosted pizza thing.
Did you not refuse to eat pizza that wasn't good pizza?
It has to be good pizza. I am a foodie and my husband's from New York and this is how obsessed we are with pizza. We eat pizza every Friday since we've known each other without fail. Every Friday. I have known my husband for 12 years, you guys. So every Friday. So we know, like we go down to San Diego. My dad rents a place on Mission Bay for the entire month of September. We spend a lot of time down there because we live like 3 hours from San Diego and I love it. But we're always looking for the best pizza. And that place we took you to was the best one in town that we have found. And I was like, we got to get all the people to come eat pizza. It's a hole in the wall. Love it.
Yeah, it was a random place.
Super, like you have to drive, like take an Uber or something like 10 minutes out of the way, but it was worth the drive. And we had fun, didn't we?
It was, yeah. It was very like greasy and oily and it was just.
It's the way pizza should be.
I gotta admit, it did like run all down my front.
You have to like, the key is like fold it and like let it drip and then go for it. No, I should have warned you though. You weren't ready, and it did. No. It got all over.
I folded it and went to eat, and I'm like,
oops.
But so you get passionate about food,
yes,
and chatbots,
yes, and entrepreneurship and parenting, like you name it. I'm all over it. I'm a passionate human.
You are. This is true. With obviously the time, we want to keep this a little bit shortish.
Oh no, be
Around
careful
about
what
an
you
hour.
ask.
But we talked a lot about chatbots,
Mhm.
ethics,
Yes.
doing the right thing, not complaining when you've actually opened up the door yourself in the first place.
Yeah.
All that lovely fun stuff.
Mhm.
Now, social media in general, entrepreneurship in general, COVID in general, you're a mum, I'm a dad,
It's
we're
tough
all
business.
juggling. Yeah. How have you, on what tips would you give to kind of get through as best you can the
Yeah.
situation time we're in right now?
Yeah. So I was talking to you about this earlier
Mhm.
that because of the nature of my business, I started my business 10 years ago, right before I married my husband. And I did it for two main reasons. Number one is because I hate working for people. And number two, because we knew we wanted to have a family and I wanted to be able, I knew that I had seen other people in like corporate world that I was working in struggle having kids and balancing that. So I started my business with those thoughts. So I was very fortunate to start it before kids. And I had like 3 years to start kind of figuring everything out. So by the time COVID came, I have 2 little girls. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I had already structured my business. So like, number one, you can't just call me. Literally, you can, like, I give you my work number, but I won't answer it. It goes to the voicemail and it says, I want to talk to you, but you're going to have to go to this link and schedule a call. Every call is scheduled, literally every single call I do. And I have trained all my clients that way. I've set those expectations. That has alone saved me because I can control my schedule. And so I guess my tip would be, number one, every tip I give you, it's only going to work if it works for you. We can only give the things that work for us. These are the things that work for me. It may or may not work for you. But number one is schedule. I believe in schedule and I believe in flexibility when it comes to kids, especially. But initially I will have a schedule. So all my calls are scheduled. I schedule my activities with my children. I was telling you, Dan, before we came on, that my kids are just at that age where they will leave me alone if they don't want to be around me. So I spend 1 to 2 hours a day in the morning and I will schedule that time and I will plan an activity. So we'll like make bread or paint a picture or, so I have an activity for every day. Pinterest is where it's at, y'all. That's all I'm saying. And so they will be sick of me after an hour or two and they don't want to have anything to do with me. They'll go play with each other, play Barbies, go watch a movie, and I can work. The other thing that I've always given as advice to parentpreneurs, I guess, people who have to work with their kids around, and that everyone is there right now, is don't just have a schedule, but break the type of work you're doing up. So what I mean by that is there is work I can do where I'm just on my laptop watching the kids play and it's just kind of casual. Like, so if I'm managing social media, if I'm just going through comments on my YouTube video or, answering questions in my Facebook group, then I can do that with interruption and it's very casual. I can go like play Barbies for 5 minutes and come back and, it doesn't interrupt my flow of my brain. So I have that type of work. Then I have the type of work like video shoots, where it doesn't help to have interruptions. I do get interruptions and then I have to edit those out. But generally it's like, okay, the kids are downstairs. I could probably get a video out, right? And then there's the stuff that you cannot have interruptions. These are heavy brain activities. Like when I'm building a messenger bot that's complicated, if I have an interview like this, I try to schedule that around times where either I know my kids are going to leave me alone. Mornings, they generally leave me alone. They're kind of still, waking up. I give them their breakfast, put on some cartoons, and I'm good for an hour. Or I will plan if I know I have like a day's worth of busy work, like I have to edit video, I have to build chatbots, things that take my full attention, and having my attention taken away is tough. I will drop my kids off at my dad's. I'm fortunate enough that my dad lives 10 minutes away, but I will, or if you're not, I will do it on the weekend and my husband will watch the kids and I will do that stuff. So I separate my work and then I look at my schedule on where my kids fit into that. And that's when I do that work. And I try to be really forgiving with myself, knowing that sometimes I might want to shoot video and things happen. And I just have to be okay with pushing it off. So, and the biggest thing I've had to learn is I am a procrastinator by nature. I've always been that way. I actually am a high productive procrastinator. So I will like plan things in the back of my mind for days and just put it off. But it's not that I'm not working on it. But I can't do that so much now. I really have to make sure that I am doing the things I need to do on this before this date and not wait till last minute because of these things that can just come up. And then I don't want to like push off stuff that maybe is important to a client. So I'm trying to like push them forward more than usual so that I can be more flexible. So yes, schedule, very important, but also be okay with the fluidity of having your children around. I guess it's that balance.
Do you know, there was something my wife said to me just the other day. We were watching a program. I think it was Hannah. About
On Amazon.
child.
Yeah.
I think it was Amazon Prime. Yeah. I think it was Hannah. And there's something that was said on the TV on that show that my wife has been thinking about for days because she works a corporate job.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, she's doing.
I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, I do the remote thing, same as you. And so the thing that was said on this program was the guy had gone off somewhere and he was late. And when he got back, she was all worried and all that kind of stuff. And she said, "What were you doing, or what could you have been doing that was more important than me?" And those words have been dwelling in the back of my wife's mind.
Yeah,
because she's same as you. She's been juggling work. And,
it's tough.
Yeah.
The thing is like as parents, and honestly, as a mother, this is something all parents deal with. But I do think like more than anything, mothers deal with this mom guilt. Society puts it on us. Our friends put it on us. We're constantly putting it on ourselves because we're comparing. People will compare themselves to me. I would never, if I were not me, I would never compare myself to me because I know that I am a high productive human and I am an unusual type of person that I can get a lot done in a small amount of time. That is not typical. I feel sad because my sister was recently compared to me and I'm like, that's not fair. She does not have the same brain. She does not function. She's not the same human. Like we have different personalities. So as moms, we definitely, and parents, we feel that guilt. We give each other a hard time. Something I will stress with that comment about like, is there a better place? I do believe that you should dedicate time every day to give your children uninterrupted time. That means put your damn phone away. It's hard. Trust me, I'm addicted to my phone. It's something my husband and I both struggle with, but put it away and give them, you don't even have to give them a full hour. I'm telling you, all they need is 10 minutes and they're like, cool, thanks. But I give them a full hour at least every day. And then the other thing is like, don't feel bad because you have to work. This is something my friends have told me they struggle with. And I used to struggle with it, but I've kind of like since gotten over it. And it took a lot is that if I have to work, you can't have that mind frame of, well, it's more important to be with my kids. It's also really important that your children see you work hard and see you do things that make you responsible. And you also have the responsibility to take care of your children. So while, yes, it's important that you spend time with your children, you cannot feel guilty because you are doing the things you have to do to ensure they have a good life. So don't feel bad if you have to work. Just make sure you are taking the time to spend time with your children as well. And they will get frustrated, especially now because they're around you all the time. Mommy, why do you have to work all the time? I get it every day. I'm like, because mommy's got to take care of you. Don't you want to go take Spanish lessons and dance lessons? Well, guess what? Yeah. So like kids, they don't understand sometimes when they're younger, but as they grow up, they see, like I was really impacted by like my parents' work ethic growing up. And I think that that's really helped me. So don't let the guilt get you down, but also understand that, yes, you do need to spend specific time with your kids. So it's again, it goes back to that balance.
I think that's what she found herself going the whole of, especially in corporate world.
It's tough.
There's some days she could be on the phone for 6-7 hours.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Just sat there listening. So she'll be sat there with her ears plugged in, her phone in her pocket, like going around playing with the kids, and then she'd have to stop every now and again and listen to something she needs to pay attention to. And then, the rest of the 30 minutes of the call, she can kind of semi-ignore.
Yeah.
But she wasn't feeling like she was present, and she felt guilty about that.
It's
but
tough.
Like you say, she kind of has separated them now where she no longer does that. She opts out of calls. If someone says you really have to be on.
Yeah, say no. Talk about a magic word right now. Like get cool with no.
the amount of calls she said no to, and do you know what's happened to her job?
She's probably
It's exactly the
improved.
same. She's getting more done,
Yeah.
and she doesn't have a conversational awareness about every single thing that's been spoken about on 20 calls in a week.
Yes.
But those things she needs to know about, she got an email about.
Yeah.
And
It's amazing, like both in the corporate world where you have less flexibility to say no. So good for her, but also in our entrepreneurial world, especially as solopreneurs, we're like in this hustle world where we have to be on, there's a lot of, I had to start saying no to digital summits. Pandemic hits and literally everybody wants you to come speak for free. And they're like, it's easy. It's a digital summit, put together a video. I'm like, do you know how long it takes me to shoot? I script because I'm a video, like I've taught myself video, I take it really seriously and I take my brand really seriously. So I'm not just going to slap something together. I have to script it. I have to shoot it. I have to edit it. I'm like, you're 3 hours in. And I was invited to a lot of summits. So I had to start saying no to like literally everything. And it's hard because there is that pool, like I want to help, or, you want to make sure your brand is out there, but at the same time, you got work to do. So if it's pulling you away too much from your work, again, we got to go back to that balance thing. Like I'll do a Facebook Live like this. This is easy because I just get on and there's no preparing. I just talk. I like talking. But I'm also not doing Facebook Lives every day. So
we're almost honored.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm honored. I'm honored. So I get to hang out with you again, Dan.
This is true. This is very true.
Even if we don't have pizza, it's okay.
Yeah, I know. But San Diego is still there.
It is. We'll always have San Diego.
Hopefully the hole in the wall pizza place is still
there. It better make it. I think they do a lot of carry out though. I feel like pizza places are probably going to survive because of delivery and takeout. Yeah. Pizza's like naturally one of those foods.
Any parting words of wisdom? I think that we've actually done a lot of wisdom for the past hour, but any parting words of wisdom before we wrap up for today? What do you reckon?
I would say get into messenger bots. Like generally in terms of what I do, messenger bots, I 100% think everybody should get familiar with them because of the fact that there are more messaging app users than social media users. And that trend is only going up. This is the first year there's been more. Mm-hmm. Every year after, there's more and more and more and more. Younger generations, they like the messenger. So if you want to be, again, looking 3 steps ahead, if I want to be in business next 5 years, 10 years, that would be like my advice on that. In terms of my overall advice, I think you just have to be, kind to yourself and kind to your audience. Right. So, and I think that works in everything we've talked about, is from the setting expectations and doing bots right to, parenting. We have to be kind to ourselves and we have to be kind to our audience. And when we can do that, we are happier, our family is happier, our customers are happier, and everybody starts to win. So.
Words of wisdom indeed.
There you go. I didn't even have to get on a soapbox for that one.
No, we've had enough soapboxes. And I've enjoyed every one of them.
I only brought a couple. I'm out.
That's okay. So for those watching or catching on the replay, give the video a like, comment anything you want to ask in the comments, ask anything you want to ask in the comments. That's what I meant.
Tell them to join the Facebook group if you want to learn more about
Facebook group and the foundations
course. That's a good place. Yeah, those are good places to start.
So the foundations course is stellar.tips/foundations with or without a capital F. We're not sure.
We're not sure.
It's roulette.
Test it.
Yep, there you go.
Let us know.
And the Facebook group, just search for Baby Got Bot on Facebook, or there is the URL right there. So thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. And thank you everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye everyone. Thanks.
Bye.